I think we all need to ask ourselves if we are actually satisfying our own passion, if we are serving our own self too. Are we serving ourselves?
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Shared Diversity, the Muslim Businesswoman podcast, where we share the diversities of Muslims in the media. My guest today is Sabreen Wani. She's a lettering artist and motherpreneur, and we talked about finding your passion and pursuing your passion while raising a child and how you can find fulfillment in your life even if you don't have too much time to pursue your dreams. Before you jump into this episode, make sure you are subscribed to the podcast, you review us on iTunes, and inshallah follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, where we share more insights into business, branding, and womanhood. Just for those who don't know you yet, could you introduce yourself in 30 seconds?
Sure, yeah, that means like a rapid fire round. My name is Sabreen Wani. Okay, people on Instagram know me as Lettersteller. I am a lettering artist. I draw also, but I'm mostly good at letters. I am from a place called Kashmir. It's a part of not actually India, but it's just a state there. It's a really pretty state, and right now I'm living in Riyadh.
Tell us a little bit more about your business. When did you start lettering and how did you get into this business in art form itself?
Okay, I think it was back in January 2017 or so. I was always fond of writing pretty letters, but I did not know that people were making business out of it and people were actually calling it lettering. I thought it was just a hobby for me, drawing letters and making some prettiness out of them. But then I discovered that I could do more about it. I could learn more about this science. This was actually a science in itself, which I did not know about, but I was still doing it. So I thought that I should expand this science and I should learn more about it. And since then, even after having my baby, I was continuously learning it and making letters and drawing letters, and it's like, a kind of process of learning and drawing. So now I am, alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah. There was a day at the start when I used to think that I won't be able to letter like other people. But right now, with the grace of Allah and with continuous practice, I am, alhamdulillah, able to go lettering, I think, because people are liking it. There is a website I have collaborated with back in my state, and I create art pieces, the lettering pieces, and they are selling it, alhamdulillah. So that's how it all started.
Alhamdulillah. So you told me that kind of starting your business, and I think that is a very nice concept. Starting your business was somehow a way of fulfillment, like for creating fulfillment in your life. Why did you start building your business in the first place? Was that one of the reasons, or did you find that out throughout time?
No, actually, when I started, I was just focusing on learning it and creating some art pieces to satisfy my own passion because it had actually grown into a passion inside my heart. It was like it still is like that. I can't even stay away from lettering for a long time. Even if I'm doing some normal, running some normal errands at home, I'll come in the middle and start lettering on a blackboard or a copy or a notebook or anything. So that's the kind of passion I have about it. And when it actually started getting better. In fact, the best person in my life, my husband always supported me in it. And at first he didn't understand what I was doing, but then when he started to see that it was getting better and I was doing something about it, which was noticeable, he actually supported me with it. He got me an iPad as a gift, and because I said that iPad is important and I need to learn lettering on it and I need to make some money also. Now everybody was appreciating my work. So then right now, to be honest, it's a really, really small scale. I am taking some private commission pieces or orders. Then there's this website who I already mentioned I've collaborated with, and they are selling my work. So that's how it's going on. It's not actually, not paying my bills right now, but this is something that I am satisfied with. That okay, fine. Just being a mother to a toddler, not being able to give full time to it, I'm still doing something with the grace of Allah. So even if I'm earning a penny out of it, that's halal penny, and I am doing it. So Allah is helping me with that.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. And one thing I find interesting is that although it is small, it kind of gives you that feeling of, there is something that is for your own, and it's something that you have in control, and it's something that gives you a sense of independence as well. Do you feel you had that when you were just starting to raise a child and you were doing something else before that, right? You were an employee, basically.
Yeah, I was always fond of. My handwriting is alhamdulillah good, like really good. Like everybody appreciates it, having since I was a child. So that, as I said, I did not know that what I was doing is a science in itself. People are calling it lettering or typography or calligraphy, whatever you call it, different aspects of the science. So when I came to know about it, and I discovered it on internet back in 2017. I was actually carrying my son at that time. So I started practicing it a lot. And then there also came a time during my pregnancy when I started to hate it. Because, it happens while you're carrying a baby. It happens that the things you've always liked in your life, you suddenly start hating them and you become an entirely different person. All mothers would definitely connect with me on this. I became an entirely different person, but I knew that this was only until I delivered my baby. The moment I delivered him, I was like, oh my god, I do want to go back to lettering. I do want to practice it. I do want to, connect with it again. So that's what happened. After I started feeling better after the delivery, I got back to it. I started practicing. I started making pieces, but it wasn't until I think 4 months back that I started to commercialize it actually.
So I have a question, because obviously during your pregnancy you said you didn't have that like urge, or you didn't even want it and you hated to do it, but then you delivered your baby, mashallah, and then you started it. But isn't that usually, it's not an easy thing to have your first baby and raise a child, and it's also not an easy thing to build a business, because it's a child in itself. So how did you get this energies that are so rare and so limited within the first months or first years of having a child, to then go and make something out of the art? How did you get the energy to do that? Was it just something that just came, or did you consciously get into it and have like the goal and the mindset of, I really want to start with this now?
You won't believe that I was raising my son for almost 1.5 years alone. My husband was here in the other country. I was alone back home. I wasn't actually alone, but yeah, my husband wasn't with me. My family was, but technically I was raising my son alone. In the first 1.5 years, I have done that, and I was in touch with my art. I was in touch with my lettering. I didn't want to give it up. I was paying full attention to my son as much as he needed, and the minute he would go to sleep or go for a nap, and I would step out of the bedroom and go directly to my lettering. Whatever time I used to get, whatever time was it, even if it were just 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 2 minutes, as I said, that even when I am doing some chores or whatever event I'm running, I come in between, something attracts me, and there's some urge to come to it again and again. I come and then I draw. Even if I write Allah or even if I write Ali, my son's name, I feel like, okay, I did lettering for the day. I did something which satisfies this energy inside me that I want to do. So first year was not easy. When I had my baby, after I think a month after that, I started getting back on it. Not full time, but whatever time I was getting, I started getting back on it, and I used to just practice small words, and that was enough for me, because I was thinking to myself that, okay, fine, I'm taking care of a newborn, and even if I take 5 minutes for this and I've written a word in a day, I was really feeling proud of myself. I think the most important thing is not to belittle yourself and not to undervalue yourself. That's the most important thing. Don't undervalue yourself. You are capable of a lot of things. You think to yourself that you can do it, you can actually do it. So I thought, no, I can do it, and I was raising my son alone. Most of the time, I wasn't having a car. If I had to go out, I would go by myself, take a taxi or a cab or any other medium, and then go and buy stuff for my son also, take him along, come back and do other things at home, and in the meantime also get back lettering. So I was just juggling with many things at that time. So that 1.5 year was not easy, but with the grace of Allah, and I told you already, my husband's support was always there with me, and his family, my family, always supportive, and especially his family, always supportive. His mother is like an angel, I think, in my life, to be honest. So she has always been supportive, and only when you have people in your life who are supporting in things you want to do, then you can do it. I think that there are also one more aspect: your personal energy and your power to not undervalue yourself or underestimate yourself, and then the people in your life, their energy and their positivity. All these things, they are the things that contribute to your positivity or your negativity. That's what I think.
I want to go more into that, because we know, and a lot of times we can hear this sentence, you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with or that you spend most time with. So my question here is, if you have a baby and if you have a family, obviously, and if you have a business on top of that, you have to really channel your energies very wisely, and you have to select the people around you very wisely. So you talked about your husband as one person that plays a big role in your development and who always supports you, and then your mother. Who else should anyone look out for, and what kind of people should someone surround themselves with when they are short on time and they want to build a brand and go into building a business out of their passion while doing something that takes a lot of time, like raising a child, for example?
The point is, we don't get to choose people in our lives. We don't get to choose our parents. We don't get to choose our anything. We even get our husbands. We do choose our husbands, and then Allah knows how they would be. It's just Allah's grace, I think. So I'm not really sure that, okay, if married, it depends on that. If you're married and you have a job, maybe a very hectic job, and you really want to channelize your extra energy to some passion that you have, I think your parents play a major role in that. If you're actually doing something and you're earning good money, paying your bills, you're saving money, but there's something inside you that's making you sad because there's something you want to do added to that job. You want to do something else and you want to channelize your energy to there, but maybe your parents are not supporting in that, and maybe they are, they're asking you to not do anything related to your passion or not channelize your energies to your passion and just focus on what you're doing right now. So I think you should surround yourself with people, maybe friends. Friends are really important. If you're not married, maybe if you're married, your husband is good, he's supportive all the time. You don't need any friends. But if you're not married and parents are not supportive, friends or siblings and friends are the people who can always understand you. They can always support you. I don't think you get many choices. What do you think about it? Who should we surround? What do you think about that?
So I think, like you say, and I think you have a really big point there, is that you cannot choose your family and you cannot choose the immediate family, obviously. Obviously, you get to choose your husband, and I think that is a big thing that you need to find out in the beginning. If someone is really supportive, if someone is really interested in your goals and can support them as well, because a lot of times, men, and we can talk about this a lot, and we find this may be funny sometimes, that men have big egos. And I don't think women have less big egos, but sometimes men have, their ego holds them back from supporting their wives to do great things. And I think you'd really need to look out for a person that is really positive and is really values what you do and doesn't only allow it but support it. So for example, what you said with, your husband bought you a tablet and something to write on and draw on. These things are important because a lot of times we don't feel that our craft or our business is big enough yet to invest in it. And obviously you and your husband have to together find a way how to invest the money that you have and invest into your both growths. So having a husband that goes proactively and says, okay, we need to somehow invest in your craft and in your business, that is so important. And I think you can also choose your friends in that way, that you have people not only telling you, oh yeah, I think it's nice what you're doing, and smiling and saying, good job when you did something right, but they also proactively help you to develop. That could be, and I think there's more ways of development. Like it could be professional development, that they say, there's an event I think you would be interested in, even if they're in a really different industry than you, they would do that. Or spiritual development, they would say, there's a training and a Quran lesson or whatever, we should go there and develop personally and spiritually. And then also things like buying each other books and helping each other to grow in our fields. I think that's very important, to have people that are proactive around you, because if your friends are proactive and the people around you to grow, then you will definitely have the right mindset to keep going whatever happens. Like a lot of times we fail and a lot of times we make mistakes, but the important thing is that we have always the drive to
People.
yes, and always the drive to keep going, always go forward.
Right. Always the people to inspire us, and and give us a push when not feeling like going on, and always people there to give us a push that you have to go on.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to ask you more about what you said with, you build a business while you have a child and you take every extra second that you have to grow that business. Do you think, I think it's a hard question, but do you think saying from the judgment that you can make from the people around you or the culture that you grew up in or are surrounded by, do you think that women take enough advantage of the extra energies that we have to channel it into growing our passions into something that can give us independence? Or do you think there can be an improvement made in like the mindset to grow something for ourselves?
I think a lot of women are. I'm not the only woman. Many, a lot of women are doing it already, but majority of the women are not. They're not. They're not following their passions. They're not channelizing them. I'm not saying that you are making a home. You are paying attention to your family. You are cooking for them, or you're doing all the things for them. You're serving them, and you're not doing what you should be doing. All I'm saying is that after doing all that and serving everybody and doing the service for everybody that you ought to do for, after that you need to serve your own self too. You need to serve your own passion. You need to serve your own desires also. Maybe if you're not going to earn out of it. See, to be honest, it's not important to earn out of it. Even if see, I already said that it's not paying my bills. I'm not earning much. I don't even know how much I'm earning right now. Maybe even if I'm earning a single penny, that right now doesn't matter to me as much as this does, that I am following my passion. I am doing something that I want to on a daily basis. Even if I'm writing a word, I am satisfying my passion. I am channelizing my energies towards something that I really, really, really do feel, to feel a love for. So you need to ask, everybody needs to ask themselves, all women and maybe men, but specifically all women, because they're always busy with home and always busy with their kids and other responsibilities. I think we all need to ask ourselves if we are actually satisfying our own passion, if we are serving our own self too. Are we serving ourselves? At the end of the day, are you feeling that this is a good day? I served my family, I served my husband, I served my kids, they're happy, everybody has gone to bed, they're all happy and satisfied with me. Everything, I've ran all the errands that were important for the day. But ask yourself at the end of the day, have you done something for yourself in the day? Is this something you actually wanted to do for yourself and you did it, you actually did it? So when you're actually able to answer this question positively, that okay, my passion is cooking, okay, baking, or these days so many women are earning out of baking and they are baking in their own kitchen, same kitchen they're cooking in, same kitchen they're cooking the meals for the whole family, they're baking stuff and then they're selling it. So I'm not saying specifically baking, I'm just giving an example that if you are a baker and you're doing this for your kids every day, ask yourself, why don't you turn it into an income? Maybe that income won't be much, but that would be enough to keep yourself happy. So this is important. Muslim women specifically, or all women all over the world, I think they need to ask themselves this, specifically homemakers. I'm not talking about all the women who have a job, a 9 to 5 job, and they're working in sectors, I don't know, banks and other sectors, but they also have passions which they don't get time for. They also need to ask themselves, and specifically women who are homemakers, who have kids to take care of, and husbands and families, and daily chores, a lot of chores at home. So they need to ask themselves at the end of the day if they have actually served their own selves or not.
So how can they do it though? Because it's easy to say you just like make time for yourself, but it's very hard to apply it. So do you have like action steps or like specific tips for them to apply it in their lives?
You need to first organize your time. I think time management is an important step in developing the passion. The first thing is you need to prioritize the things in your life. My family comes first. Okay, I'm going to serve them. They come first. My kids come first. I'm going to serve them. I am going to keep everything ready. And definitely, and I'm so sure you definitely must be getting an hour a day for yourself. An hour where you would be free, if not more, not 2 hours or 3 hours, you must definitely be getting an hour. So ask yourself, what did you do in that hour? Did you watch TV? Did you watch Netflix? Did you watch your serials? Or is that what you want to do with your life? Is that what you want to do? Is that the best thing you can do in that 1 hour? Can you not, do something that can satisfy your love for something that you can do for your passion? Like people want to learn tafsir, or some people they want to. There are people who are passionate about that also. I pray I also get passionate about that. But there are people. So are you doing that? So maybe your passion is cooking, not normal cooking, normal meals that you're making for your family. Maybe you want to be more creative in cooking. So you get creative in your cooking because you're so passionate about it. These are the questions that you need to ask yourself. And this time management, what you're doing in the time that you're getting for yourself, what are you doing in that time? These are some questions that you need to ask yourself.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't understand that there are so many opportunities for us to live our passion. So even if it's not something that has to do with the household and doing something for the family, something that has to do with cooking or baking or making clothes or whatever it is, there's also things that you can do now with the internet in your hands that has to do with, marketing, tutoring, writing, creating. Like, you can create so much online. There's so many opportunities for you that you don't even need to go outside if you don't have the time. Doesn't mean you shouldn't. Like, it doesn't mean you shouldn't go out and network. But if you feel living your passion and building a business and making and managing a family doesn't come together, that's just not true. Like, there are a lot of things that you can do from home now that we have social media, now that we have the internet, now everyone can create a website for themselves, sell their businesses and services online. So a lot of things just work remotely. You don't need to be out there if you don't have the opportunity to do that.
Exactly. We live in a technology world right now. Everything is getting digitized. We have internet all the time. Everybody in the world has access to internet right now. In fact, what am I doing? I'm doing my business, or I'm running my business, and I'm trying to get people to know me. Take, for example, that if I was doing this whole thing at home and I was lettering or doing whatever, but nobody knew me and nobody knew what I was doing and nobody was able to see my art, it would be all worthless, right? You have internet access. You can, if you're a writer, write on blogs. You can do blogging. Everybody's doing that. There are so many bloggers who are writing such good stuff. And if you're good at talking, you can also be a podcaster. And with internet and with technology, I think the passions and the things that people can do has widely increased. I didn't know before that people can actually be marketers on social media, but now that there are so many people who are doing it for their passion and running really good businesses being marketers. For example, I do keep getting offers from different social media marketers because they want to help me run my business better. So people are doing that, and most of them are women. So yeah, now you're right, we have wide opportunities now, just the ones that are limited to home you can do inside only or go outside. You don't even need to go outside or do the things only that you can do inside your house. You just have a laptop, or everybody has access to internet, and do something, find something that actually is your passion. Maybe something in it. Maybe you want to speak, maybe you want to write, maybe you want to draw. What do you want to do? You have internet also.
So we talked a little bit about that you find fulfillment when you live your passion. Can you tell us what exactly do you mean with fulfillment? Like, how would you define it for yourself and for your life?
I think, yeah, before that, I would also want to answer one more question that you asked. If it wasn't a question, it was a statement that, some women might hear my voice and say that it's so easy for her to say this. She might not be having so many responsibilities. She might be free all the time. Maybe there are people to help her with her baby, or there are people to help her with household chores, and it's so easy for her to say this. But trust me, it's not easy. It's not easy for anyone. I'm not saying that I'm doing a big deal. I'm making a big difference to anyone or anything, but I am definitely making a big difference to my own life, and that's what matters. That's what matters the most. That you need to see that if you're making a difference to your own life, just don't think so many about the people who are around and who you might think that they're going to talk a lot. If I do this, if I start pursuing my passion, they might start talking. Don't think about people around. They are eventually going to support you. Everybody is going to support you. You first need to support your own self. Are you ready for it? Are you powerful enough right now at this moment? Are you powerful enough to take a step and actually start pursuing your passion or do something for yourself? So I'm not saying that, yeah, it's easy to do. Like, listen to my voice or listen to Sina's voice or anybody's voice who's doing something for themselves or running a business, either small or big. I'm not saying that wake up in the morning and start pursuing your passion. Just think about it and, gradually take a step ahead. Take tiny steps, but do think about it. And it hasn't been easy for me as well. It has not been easy. I am doing it on daily basis. There are days when I'm not even in touch with it. There are days when I can't even think about going towards lettering because my son is not feeling well, or he needs more of my attention and I'm not getting any free time myself. So you won't even believe that there are such few moments in the day when I really get to sit down, sip a cup of tea, even if there is some time I get and I don't have anything else to do. Lettering is what I do at that time. So even if there are so many things I'm doing, in between all those things, I come and I do lettering. So you have to be that much passionate about it. I'm still a learner. I am not an amazing artist. I'm not saying that I'm a great letterer or I'm a huge businesswoman. I won't even call it a small scale business. It's a tiny scale businesses yet, but you never know. I am planning and I have full faith that Allah will help me, inshallah. I am planning to take it ahead. For now, I'm going to take it a step. I plan to take it a step further. Then maybe next year I can take 2 steps further. That's how it's going to increase, right? That's how everything increases in our lives. So I'm not asking you to wake up in the morning and start following your passion. First, just recognize what your passion is. What is your passion? Recognize your passion first. You don't even know what you want to do. Recognize what you want to do for yourself. Take out time for it. You're definitely getting the time for yourself. Everybody does. So take out that time. Channelize your energy towards this positivity. Trust me, you are definitely going to feel satisfied and you are definitely going to feel happy about it. So what I mean by personal fulfillment is that the whole day when I've done everything, I've taken care of my son, now he's sleeping and everything is done. And at the end of the day, when I think to myself that I wasn't able to do much lettering in the day, it doesn't actually, I'm not saying that I'm not happy. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, I'm really happy, taking care of my son, taking care of my husband, taking care of the house. But also, I feel like this is the part where I take care of myself. I have done lettering, so okay, fine. Then I have taken care of myself, of my passion, of my energies, of my fulfillment, of my contentment. This is something I did for myself. So that's what I meant by fulfillment. It fulfills me.
Alhamdulillah. So it's not about that you're not happy and that you want to create something to make you happy in that way, but more that you have something for yourself that you can live independently with.
Yes, exactly. As I said, I think this is the best way to put it. So I served everybody and I served myself as well. So that's the kind of feeling you're going to.
One thing that I think is really important about what you said is, first of all, find out what exactly your passion is, because a lot of times we are not aware of that. And we just think like, oh yeah, this is what I'm good at. This is what people think I'm good at. This is what I've worked before in. This, I kind of like it. But you don't know what exactly your passion is if you don't take the time to find out. And then the second thing I think that I would like to go more into is be consistent. Like, even if it's very small steps, you can be consistent. It's one thing that I always trust in is the hadith that says even the small deeds, but those which are consistent, are more pleasing to Allah. So it doesn't matter if the deeds are small or big. Better have them small consistently than one time big and never again. So even if it's just not an hour that you're taking every day to find out your passion, to write out down your goals, or just to bring the passion into action. But if it's just like 10 minutes or even 7 minutes or just one line that you can write in your diary, it is already a start. If you keep doing it every single day, this is going to lead you closer to what you say could be fulfillment for someone.
Definitely. And that's an important step. Just recognize your passion first. Yeah, maybe like you said, Sina, that consistency is so important. Yes, this is a beautiful hadith. Like there are days I'm not able to follow my passion, but I am consistent on it. I consistently love it. I consistently feel that strong connection with it. I consistently feel like going back to it. That's the kind of consistency that you need. And you need to recognize your passion. You need to recognize what fulfills you, what gives you contentment. I'm not saying that your family is not giving you happiness. We all have good grace of Allah. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. I don't think there can be a bigger blessing than a family and your ability to keep them happy, with which Allah actually enables you to. But this is something that you do for yourself, and this is something that gives you some personal contentment.
And I think it's especially important also for those women who are single mothers and who want to still create a business on the side. And people might think, oh, you're overtaking yourself, or you should learn something that is more safe. There's always a way. And actually, I wanted to refer to the conversation that I had with Iman from Inkhouse Writing. She's a copywriter, and we did a podcast as well. And she raises her son and builds a business at the same time, and she finds out right now how to take more time for herself and finding fulfillment in both, family, personal, mindfulness, and obviously your business is so important. I wanted to ask another question, and I think that's like one of the small last questions because I don't want to hold you up for too long. What would you tell a woman who is thinking of building a business and she just found out her passion and or doesn't have too much time to follow it? What would you tell her? What kind of mindset and action steps would you give her on her way?
The first thing is don't rush. Don't rush into it. If it is your passion, if it is something that you really want to do, it's definitely going to develop over time. So don't rush into it. Like I recognize my passion yesterday. Now today I should be able to build my business, or I should be able to commercialize. I should be able to sell it, or if not sell it, I should be able to be an expert at it. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Specifically when you don't have much time. Like even if you have just 3 minutes a day, don't expect that those 3 minutes are going to be, somehow magically turn your passion into business overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long, long time. It took me 2 years to learn this whole science and be somehow good at it. It took me 2 years to think that maybe somehow I can be able to sell my pieces now. So maybe people would like it. And they did, Alhamdulillah. So it doesn't happen overnight and you don't need to rush into it. Just be at ease and try to recognize it and then, follow it every day in all the time that you're getting. And definitely with the grace of Allah, if you are actually and truly in love with it, and if you truly want to develop it, and if you truly want to grow in it, Allah will definitely help you to grow.
Yes, inshallah. And a lot of times also, I think what you mentioned is so important about the passion takes time to develop into a business. You don't need to monetize it from the beginning. You don't even need to know what it is to be monetized from in the beginning. So just keep on going.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so just keep on going, develop it, and develop the skill more than the drive for money. It will always come. Like the business will come with the development of the skill and with the passion. Okay, one more thing. What would you have told your unmarried self before you went into marriage and before you went into having a child and in creating a business? Because you worked before in like a normal career and career path. So what would you have told yourself before you got married about your journey right now?
Oh, trust me, I wish I knew that I had it in me before marriage, before responsibilities, before having a baby. But also I believe in the timing of Allah. Timing of Allah is the best. There can be nothing over it. His timing is the best. Whatever timing He chooses for you, every event that happens in your life has been chosen by Allah. He chooses a time for every event to happen in your life, and that is, trust me, the best time. But yeah, I keep telling myself that I wish I knew that I had it in me. I wanted to develop it at the time. I would have, and maybe with his right now, the whole scene would have been completely different. But Alhamdulillah for his times.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. That's a very important mindset to have, that Allah's timing is the best and you have to trust your journey because it's written by Allah and He knows best. Okay, last question is actually, what question do you have for the audience that they would answer in the comments below, or something that about what we talked about, something that we can learn from them or get some insights from them? So you can now ask a question to the audience.
I think I have consistently been asking the same question throughout our talk, and my question is still going to remain the same. Are you doing what you actually wanted to do? Are you following your passion? At the end of the day, can you ask yourself the same question? Are you getting a positive answer or a negative one?
Very important. So inshallah, leave it down in the comments and share your diversity with us. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah. And don't forget, the real deal is going on at sharediversity.com. Jump on the newsletter, comment below this episode, and share your diversity with us. If you enjoyed this episode, like and share it with your friends, and make sure to rate and review us on iTunes so we can keep creating content that is relevant to you. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.